Thank you for stopping by and welcome to the channel. So we'll be taking a bus tour from Varadero to the capital city of Cuba, Havana. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy the tour.
Okay, actually it's gonna be the most interesting part, and the new Havana that is panoramic, so that means sightseeing from the bus. Okay, we are going to also visit a rum coffee and cigar shop. We are gonna have lunch, which is included as well in the tour, and with lunch you have one drink included. The only drink you have included, that will be at lunchtime. Anything else is on you. Cocktails mostly, for example, when we stop like about an hour from here for going to the washroom. Actually, I call this stop Pipi Piña Colada stop. Because trust me, if you listen to me, you're gonna see what I'm telling you. Try not to miss this Piña Colada, guys. That's the best one you will have on your holidays. I promise you that. Nothing to do with the one at the resort. I don't like piña colada actually because I don't like milk. But this is the only place where I have it. The only one. I'm more like a mojitos, Cuba Libre girl, you know. But piña colada, they make it really good here because they make it with the fresh pineapple fruit and the coconut milk, like a milkshake in a blender. Okay? So no trace of the pieces of pineapple or things like that. You know, it's like it really like a ice cream melted, you know. And they make it without rum for the ones that don't like rum, but I really suggest you to have with rum, because the rum they use it is not a cheap rum. It's a 7-year Havana Club rum, and gives the piña colada, as it's dark, you know, the taste of like vanilla ice cream tastes that way when you put the rum. Okay? So the price usually they go from around 500 Cuban pesos or 5 of your currency. I mean 5 Canadian dollars, okay, or American dollars. But I always suggest 5 Canadian dollars is better than 5 US dollars since it's higher. Okay, so it is approximately the price you will see everywhere in the bars from now on. Okay. Also, another thing to have into account that I always like to mention as well, so you don't face the problem there, is the public washrooms. Public washrooms everywhere are paid. Everywhere. When you see a person at the entrance of the washroom, you're not paying for the toilet paper you're using. You're paying for the use of the washroom. Okay? Mostly because these places, they don't hire, like a paid salary to these ladies that do that. Most of the places, they don't have the conditions either, you know, like tanks with for flushing the washrooms. They have to do it with buckets. Okay? So, you know, it's that the whole day where hundreds of people pass through, and that's why, you know, the washrooms are paid. So half for that, 50 Cuban pesos, that is approximately 50 cents of your currency. If you have $1, you can give $1 for both 2 people, you know, $1 for 2 people, it will be exactly the same thing. But just to tell you, because some ladies are nice, but some of them are kind of pushy, mostly in Havana, okay, since they live on that. Okay, so cameras out because we are right at the doors of a city, which is the capital of the province where we are. But by the way, anybody knows the name of the province where we are? Matanzas. Perfect. So this is one of the rivers that crosses Matanzas city. This is a river that usually we come when we have the Jeep Safari tour, you know, for little motorboats ride. The harbor, you can see right there. The towers you see right that with red and white at the end, you know, by the harbor. Those are thermoelectrics. You know, here the main source in Cuba to generate electricity is using the oil. Okay, you will see oil wells in the way to Havana near the shore. We actually have a company called Sherit from Alberta here in this city. This is about half an hour from Varadero, about 36 kilometers approximately. So this is the capital of the province, Matanzas. It's also called Matanzas, this city. So as I said, some workers come from here. Most other workers, they come from that's about 15 kilometers away from Varadero. So between Cárdenas, Varadero, and Matanzas is like a triangle. Okay? So these buildings you see here on the left side, that's the University of Matanzas called Camilo Cienfuegos, that used to be a military school before. Let me tell you that in Cuba we have near 20 universities. Just in Havana we have 5. And here to the right we have, you see the boys there in green. by the bus. This is a military site which is mandatory in Cuba for the boys and voluntary for the girls. They have to spend 1 year in the military service if they get a university career, but if they didn't, they have to spend 2 years in the military. Okay? However, they get a second chance, because if that boy, first chance he had, he couldn't get a university career and he has to spend 2 years in the military, he gets a second chance to present to the exams again and apply to go to university, taking into account that, you know, probably some of you, that our system, our education system is free in Cuba. Okay? So later we can talk about that with more details, because I would like to talk a little bit about the city first before we pass it, and then if you are interested I can give you more details about education system later. Sounds good? Yeah? So this is the newest area. It's a neighborhood called Pastorita. Most of the people building houses, they do it in this area here. And I'd like to know your opinion. What do you think? Do houses in Cuba belong to the people or to the government? What do you think? You think the people own the houses? Everybody thinks like the lady? You say no? Over there, no? What do you think back there? People or government? People? Yes, we own our houses. Okay, so all the houses you see right there, they are owned by the families that live in those houses. We own our house, but we do not own the land. So we get the property of our house, but not the property of the land. At the beginning of the revolution, Fidel made 2 agrarian reforms, giving the property of the land to the farmers at the time. So those are the people that allow us to do that. And you don't know how much joy people had, you know, how happy they got when this law was passed that we could sell and buy. Okay? Because some people, they were really wishing to sell, you know, either to live with somebody. Lots of changes here in Cuba. Lots of changes that people were expecting to happen for a long, long time. Okay? The other way is through your job. That's another way to get a house. Like, for example, apartment buildings like this one, like that one, those are built by the government. And like that one too as well. The buildings like that, they are built by the government. So when the government finishes completely the whole apartment building, they distribute the apartment through hotels. Advantage number 2, you get facilities of paying, you know, little money discount from your wage through 15 years. That is the amount of time you need to work for that agency once your house is assigned to you. If you leave the job before 15 years, bye-bye house. Okay? So it's like it, you have to serve. And depending on the value. And the value, it depends on the position and advantages the house gives you. Okay? So if your house is on the way, near the water, then you have, the value goes up. Here, for example, we have the local beach in Matanzas called El Tenis. As you see, it's empty. So now you know that when you're swimming at the resort, if you see somebody in the water, it's Canadian. No, Cuban. At this time of the year, we don't swim, guys. No way. I know it's hot, or some is really hot, but the water, no way. We actually go swimming mostly on June, July, August, first half of September. The rest of the year, we give it to you. We're nice people. You see? So enjoy, my dears. Yes, it's too cold. The water for us? Definitely it is. Oh, we pass a small baseball stadium. You know that baseball is our national sport. Okay? So we are much better than Canadians playing hockey. You know that, right? Beat you hard. Can somebody tell me what's the population of Cuba?
11.
What do you say, sir?
11.
11. There you got it. 11 million people. How many provinces do you think we have? 15. Perfect. Yes. 15. That's correct. Okay, boys got 2 points. Excellent. Okay, we got 15 provinces. Havana, the capital of Cuba, is the smallest in area. However, it's the biggest in population with 2.5 million people. Okay, so that's the population of Havana. Okay, guys? Here comes the second river that crosses Matanzas City. It's called San Juan River. Matanzas is known as the city of bridges. It's also known as the Athens of Cuba because on the 19th century, most of the best writers, musicians, and poets that were born here in the city of Matanzas. So this is the way out to Havana. See the people standing on the sidewalk? They are practicing what we call our second national sport in Cuba, which is hitchhiking. I did that this morning. Hitchhiking in Cuba is so common, so normal, you know. We actually have fun. We make friends as well. We talk so much. Okay, but it's very normal and so far safe, which is important too. Okay, of course it's always easier for the girls because I was standing there just for 2 minutes. Got to work like that, you know. We make a beautiful pose and 2-3 cars stop at the same time. The boys is getting harder, huh? But well, it's not something, you know, like dangerous here so far. So we are getting into a neighborhood called Versailles, and here comes the third river that is called Jumuri River. So it's the name of a valley that soon you will see. So you have seen the 3 rivers that crosses the city. As you see, this part is older than the first one we saw. Do you have an idea what Matanza means? No idea. Matanza in English means slaughter, killing, massacre. There is a legend that, you know, from a long time ago, at the colonial times, that says that in the harbor of Matanza there was a group of Spanish lost in the harbor, and the Aboriginals that used to live in the region, they pretended they would help them. However, they almost killed them all. Only 2 Spanish survived to the attack, and that's why it is said the region got the name Matanzas, due to the massacre that took place there, okay, in the harbor. This is a very quiet city. Actually, after 5 or 6, you don't see much people on the street, just the ones that are going to work or something like that, hitchhikers going back home. Let's go to see how good you are at geography. Looking at that map of Cuba behind me, can you please tell me who's our nearest neighbor on the north? Florida, perfect. South? Who's in the south? Jamaica, very well. Eastern side of Cuba? Bahamas? Puerto Rico, no. 5 years old. Our system is primary school from preschool till 6th grade. That's primary school. Then comes what we call secondary school, that is from 7 to 9. Then pre-university from 10 to 12, and then university. 5 years. State medicine, that is 6. Make a pause here in this gossip. You like gossipers, huh? Like gossips. Okay, this is the highest bridge in Cuba. This is called Bacunayagua Bridge, 112 meters high. You can see a valley that the name is like the river, the last one we saw, that is called Jumuri Valley. Those blackbirds they are everywhere. Those are the turkey vultures. A lot of people ask what they are. The last tour to Havana, there was a sir that he said, maybe if somebody falls down there, nobody will find it. I said, well, turkey vultures will. Yeah. Definitely they will. They are everywhere. So guys, this is the bridge that is the limit between 2 provinces. So that means that we are no longer in Matanzas. We are now in a new province that is called Mayabeque. Today we are going to be in 3 different provinces. Matanzas, Mayabeque right now, and Havana once we get there. In 2.5 hours, that is one last journey from Varadero to Havana. Half price.
So this is our washroom stop and pina colada stop, which she mentioned earlier in the video. First one's a gift store. Look at the dog. So beside the gift shop is the bar where they sell the pina colada. So coming up on my left, they sell water over here. So we're heading for the washroom. They're at the end of the building. So there is a person in the washroom and you'll have to tip them to use the washroom. toilet I got to use had no handle on it, so it's nasty. Here we are drinking the famous pina colada. We just passed the toll and we'll be entering Havana.
Okay, so I ask you to meet your neighbors because you're responsible for your neighbors now. Your neighbor gets lost, gets late, you're gonna get spanky. Help me out. If somebody is missing, somebody, like that, you can help me to find out. So look well your neighbors for that. Get ready. Decide what you're leaving in the bus, what you're taking with you. Remember, we are going to stay an hour 50 in all Havana, okay? Before going lunch. And anything you will leave here, remember the bus is going to be closed, so the driver will be here, okay? By the way, do you realize that we are swimming right now without getting wet? Yes, this tunnel, that is another of the wonders talking about architecture in Cuba, is underwater. What we have above on both sides is water. We are under Havana's harbor. The tunnel was built in the 50s with the purpose of developing the eastern side of Havana because the western part was overpopulated in the 50s. So that's the reason why this tunnel was built. This is the statue of Máximo Gómez, the general from the Dominican Republic that fought during the Wars of Independence in Cuba. The fortress you see with the lighthouse, it is a fortress built in the year 1630 by the Spanish to protect the entrance of the harbor from the attack of the pirates. However, in 1762, the English took Havana and the Spanish, they had to go. The English just stayed 11 months here. Otherwise, we would speak English better than you. What do you think? But the Spanish guy insisted. They proposed the English to first one built in Latin America by the Spanish. It was built in the year 1774. It's called La Cabaña. And every night in La Cabaña, we have a ceremony, a theatrical ceremony of the cannon shot. So we have a cannon shot 9 o'clock every night from there. They used to close the city at the colonial times as a curfew because it was protected by a thick wall, so that's just tradition to keep. Last year there was a lady asking me where do the bullets go. Say no bullets. Imagine if they shot every night to Havana, the buildings will be gone now. It's just powder. So this is all Havana, okay? All this area. The buses, they park here by the seafront always, okay? Just telling you some tips. That's the statue of Jesus Christ made of marble Carrara from Italy. You see at the end of the fortress. We are gonna end. This castle here is the castle of the Royal Force. Dime, mi amor. You know where we are going to have lunch? There. There, to your left, top floor. We are going to have lunch there on the top floor, just for you to know. We are going to end up or walking there. Okay? So this is the harbor here. So guys, I need your cooperation to get off as fast as we can here because there's no almost parking. You see this is pretty full and this is a no parking area and we are almost half of the way of the...
So we're heading to Plaza de San Francisco in Old Havana. I hope you enjoyed the tour driving from Varadero to Havana, Cuba. Please subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. I hope to see you at part 2.